Street stewards is sure having fun. Now with the mayor going out to Olivenheim and then going out to Fox Point Farms the next time. It is. It's really thrilling, I think. It's a fun project.
Mark,
Yes.
Commissioner or Chair O'Connor,
Yes.
or actually Vice Chair O'Connor, sorry, but acting chair tonight. This is the full quorum, so you can go ahead and start
Start.
anytime.
All
Yeah.
right.
Oh, is there one person waiting? Oh, okay.
I had
maybe that-
528
okay.
on my satellite phone. That one's fast.
Oh, that one's fast. Okay.
The one behind you is a little more accurate, but
All right. We'll wait till the official world time.
we'll let the slips get in and we'll start early. We'll start early, as soon as the slips are in. Do you have 3 slips? Yes. Okay. All right, why don't we start a little bit early? Okay, when you're ready. Be kind to me. I guess we're going to have the roll call first.
Yes. Commission Vice Chair O'Connor,
Present.
Commissioner Parker,
Here.
Commissioner Switzler,
Here.
Commissioner Bruner,
Here.
Commissioner Wick,
Here.
and let the record show that we have a quorum with 5 commissioners present and Commission Chair Kramer and Commissioner Fletcher absent.
All right, next is the Pledge of Allegiance. Would anyone like to lead that tonight? All right, thank you. Are there any changes to the agenda?
No changes to the agenda.
Thank you. And next, it looks like we have some oral communications.
Yes, we have 3 speakers. First is Katie Paponyak regarding smoke-free multi-unit housing.
Anyway, good evening. I am Katie Paponyak. I am representing San Diego Alliance for Drug-Free Youth. I've lived over 40 years in Encinitas and really appreciate the work that some of the past members and you new members will know more about that we did in the city of Encinitas on this no smoking in public places ordinance. It's very important to me and my family. I'd like to do a little bit more work on that because I found cigarette butts in my gym outside the gym the other day in Encinitas and anywhere along the El Camino Real corridor. I feel like a lot of people may not know about the ordinance, so I'll try to work on that. But basically, you see with what I turned out to you that what we try to do with San Diego Alliance is push for all multi-unit housing, apartments, condominiums to be smoke-free. It's something we'd really appreciate you having on your 2026 work plan. I know these things are hard. I know they take a lot of staff time. So we'll do as much as we can to convince apartment managers and owners about the importance of this because any kind of smoke is, and you see on there, smoke is smoke, and it's very dangerous to the people living in these apartments, but also we are concerned about the environmental part of it. So thank you for your time. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Next, we have Peggy Walker regarding disposable e-cigarettes.
Good afternoon. I also work with San Diego Alliance for Drug-Free Youth, and my job has been to educate the community about the hazards of tobacco and other intoxicating substances, especially to those under 26. So I came today to call your attention to new studies that are showing that vapes and e-cigs are more toxic than cigarettes. I appreciate so much the work that you've done in establishing the city's tobacco regulation. So I wanted to call the problem of e-cigs to your attention. They're staggeringly detrimental to health, to the environment, and they are a big hazardous waste disposal problem, especially the illegal disposable vapes. So what I found, and now that school is starting, it's going to become a problem in the schools again, as it has been in the past. I looked at the city's website, and there's nothing on the website, the hazardous and the waste disposable website, about disposing e-cigs. I brought you today something from the EPA that suggests how they should be disposed. You cannot just put them into your household waste. You can't just toss them into a trash receptacle, because you've got the toxins from the chemicals, you've got the lithium-ion batteries that are dangerous, and then you've got the plastics from the disposables, and all those are dangerous to the environment. What I'm suggesting, what I would like to see, but I would like to see a ban on disposable e-cigs. That would be the best solution. A couple of other solutions would be, one, a retailer take-back program where those who sell them are responsible for taking them back and disposing of them. The other alternative would be an e-cig tax to cover the cost of the city disposing of them. So 3 options: ban the disposable ones, and I will say that there are a lot of illegal, mostly manufactured in China, disposable vapes out there, like the, you probably heard of the Elf Bar. But there are a whole bunch of them. Even though they're banned, they're still being sold widely. The 3, just to repeat again, the 3 options: ban them, retailer take back, and the tax. And I brought for you, I wanted to create awareness of the health hazards and the EPA guidelines, so I brought these for you. So thank you so much for your consideration.
Thank you.
And lastly, we have Shirley Klein regarding engine idling.
Hi, I'm Shirley Klein. I'm a longtime resident of Encinitas also. Did you know that Cupertino, Fullerton, Dublin, Fountain Valley, Palm Desert, Placer County, Sacramento, Palo Alto, and Santa Cruz all have anti-engine idling ordinances? I didn't know that until I met Mark last week at a volunteer cleanup at the Solana Center. When he told me who he was, he patiently listened while I vented about all the engine idling I see in Encinitas and, of course, everywhere else. He then challenged me to do some research to find out how many cities in California already have idling ordinances in place. Did you know that vehicle idling in California contributes a staggering 2.7 million tons of carbon dioxide and burns 270 million gallons of fuel annually? So each of those cities that I mentioned have quite a few variations in their rules. Most focus on education. Why can't we have more educated public here in Encinitas? There are PSAs about everything else. Why not about how the public can help curb carbon emissions? Instead of being part of the problem, we should be part of the solution. Sacramento has a formal ordinance specifically limiting engine idling. They must turn off their engines when stopping. No idling allowed at a destination. I walk a lot around here. A lot of what I see are cars, pickup trucks, SUVs, often with the windows open. Right here where we don't have extreme heat. But they have their AC on, maybe, but their windows are open and their engines are running. They're on the phone, eating, sleeping. Yep, I saw a person taking a nap in front of Trader Joe's, engine on. Many are waiting for their passengers at a store or the ATM. Yep, engine on. One of the most surprising was an encounter I had with SCG&E drivers of two F-150 pickup trucks. They were in the middle of the road talking to each other through their open windows. They were polite when I mentioned pollution, global warming, and the planet they are leaving for their grandchildren. They acknowledged all of that and actually said they just weren't thinking about what they were doing. But their answer to it all was, maybe next year we'll have electric trucks. Shouldn't we be advocating for a company policy? So maybe it's our own behavior that needs to get changed. Do you get into your car, turn on the engine, check the phone? Maybe, I got just another little thing.
Go ahead.
Maybe make some calls. When that's all done, then maybe you put on your seatbelt and move. Does that seem familiar to you? I made a list of all the city codes for the committee to look at. I will leave that with you. Mark, thanks a lot for letting me delve into this problem and pass on what I've learned. Thank you.
Well done. All right, that concludes the oral communications. So next would be approving the minutes from June 12th. Has everybody had a chance to review those minutes? Any changes or comments? All right, a motion to approve those minutes?
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes.
I'll second.
All right, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Aye.
And could I just have a point of order answered, Crystal? So on the council, if we miss 3 events or meetings, you're subject to removal. When we vote as a group to cancel a meeting, does that count as one of 3, or is it a bye?
No, so if the meeting is canceled, that would not count as you being absent. A meeting would have to be held and you be absent for it to count as an absence.
Thank you very much.
Can I get clarification? Commissioner Wick, did you mean to vote?
I was late. I approved.
Okay.
Sorry. JP saw that too.
All right, the next is an informal item. It's the 2024 CAP Annual Report by staff member Maxwell, who's a Civic Spark Fellow, and I'll turn that stage over to you. And as she goes, I asked her beforehand if there's any questions or comments. There'll be a period at the end to be able to make those.
Good evening, Commissioners. My name is Aoife Maxwell. I am a Civic Spark Fellow here at the City. I've been here since January, and I'm excited to share one of the biggest deliverables of my fellowship at the City, which is the 2024 Climate Action Plan Annual Monitoring Report, or the Annual Report for short. So through this presentation, I'll just give a brief background on the Climate Action Plan and the Annual Report, the implementation progress of the City's climate action goals, some notable highlights from 2024, equity and resiliency updates, as well as some conclusions and recommendations derived from the 2024 report. So first, with a bit of background. As I'm sure the Commission knows, the 2018 or 2020 revised CAP outlined some large reduction goals in terms of the City's emissions. So overall, we have a goal of reducing the emissions by 13% 2012 baseline levels by 2020, 44% below 2012 baseline levels by 2030. Here is the most recent greenhouse gas inventory we have from Sandag, which is from 2020. And it shows that the City reduced its emissions since 2012 by 14.6%, which is 1.6% above its 2020 target. The 2024 annual report mainly focuses on the 2030 targets and the 2030 goals. Here on the slide, you can see the main categories of emissions in the city, such as transportation, electricity, natural gas, etc. So the Climate Action Plan acts as a roadmap for the city of how to achieve those larger goals. And how it does that is by breaking up the goals into 7 strategies based on the emissions that you saw on the previous slide. So historically, the largest emissions have come from on-road transportation, from gas-powered vehicles. So the clean and efficient transportation strategy mainly addresses these emissions. The building efficiency and renewable energy strategies collectively combat the electricity and natural gas emissions. Water efficiency focuses on water conservation. Zero waste strategy focuses on composting, recycling, and proper disposal of waste. Off-road equipment addresses emissions from construction as well as landscaping equipment. And then finally, carbon sequestration addresses absorbing carbon from the atmosphere through tree planting and land restoration. Each of these 7 strategies are then broken up into actionable goals or measures. So there's 20 total in the Climate Action Plan. And that is what the annual report mainly reports on, is those 20 measures. So the 2024 annual report is due to be published after it's approved by council. The 2024 report does include updated photos of Encinitas in the community. It includes updated graphs as well as some fun visuals. And then the climate dashboard is a live and interactive version of the annual report that's available to the public. Now, so this is the implementation progress, which is the main bulk of the report. So this is a summary of all 20 measures as of 2024 in terms of their progress towards the 2030 targets outlined in the 2020 CAP. So out of the 20 total measures, 13 of them are completed in terms of their 2030 target. 2 measures are on track towards their 2030 target. 4 of them are behind pace in terms of meeting those laid out 2030 targets. And then 1 is on hold as it's non-implementable right now due to current state regulations. So this is an example of how measures are laid out in the report. So in the top right corner, you can see a quick summary of the status of the report in terms of where it is at in meeting that 2030 target. So you can see that this measure, the MCET1 measure, is on track in terms of meeting its 2030 target. You can also see for all the measures, all the available data that we have, either laid out in a graph or written out in information, and the targets that we have for that measure. This is quite a notable example, I would say, as it's a key achievement in 2024. In 2024, the city replaced 13 of its light-duty internal combustion or gas-powered vehicles with electric vehicles, making significant progress towards its all-electric light-duty fleet goal of 2030. Some other notable achievements from 2024 is that there's a 92 participation rate in the San Diego Community Power in Encinitas, and 98% of that 92% is on Power 100 electricity offering, so meaning that they have 100% of their energy coming from renewable sources in 2024. Also in 2024, 90 full and electric vehicle ready charging stations were installed in single-family residences. Since 2020, 357 leaf blower code violations have been corrected in the city. Since 2012, over 6,800 homes have installed solar in Encinitas. Also in 2024 alone, 3 Encinitas businesses became California Green Business certified. Those businesses include a dental office, a cafe, as well as a nonprofit, and that was the first year of this program in the city. Lastly, the city received a Platinum Diamond Award from Sandag for its employee alternative commute efforts. Now on to equity and resiliency. So some key highlights from 2024 is that the Sustainability Division attended 16 community events. They both attended them and also hosted a workshop. And then, as according to Clean Tech San Diego, There's over 21,000 solar and clean tech jobs generated in the San Diego region. In 2024, SDREN, or San Diego Regional Energy Network, was formed, and this will be administered by San Diego Community Power and the County of San Diego. This is a pretty large programs, energy efficiency orientated, and it has a budget of $124 million to be implemented over the next 4 years. So, as I mentioned, they have a lot of energy efficiency orientated programs, and some of the local Encinitas community can take advantage of these programs if they qualify. And then lastly, in partnership with the Army Corps of Engineers, 340,000 cubic yards of sand was added to the Encinitas coastline in 2024. Now on to the conclusions and recommendations that have been derived from the 2024 report. So there has been progress made in 2024, but there needs to still be a lot more progress as well. As you can see on the right, those are the 4 measures that are behind track in terms of meeting their 2030 targets. So staff recommends focusing on these 4 measures in terms of seeking and allocating funding and additional resources accordingly to these. As well as prioritizing these behind measures, staff recommends continuing support of San Diego Community Power in terms of their 100% renewable energy goals, continuing to implement the city's green building regulations, furthering the energy efficiency in the city, continuing to certify and promote local businesses through the new California Green Business Network program we have, continuing to install bike and pedestrian facilities in the community, seek funding for electric vehicle charging infrastructure to support the city's EV charging master plan, enhancing the city's urban tree canopy by planting more trees in the parks and the streets in the city, and then lastly, continuing coastal resilient projects such as the coastal storm damage project as well as the SCOOP projects. Thank you very much for taking the time to listen to this presentation. Do you have any comments or questions about the report?
I'll start. Thank you. From seeing these presentations over time and looking at the document, it's so detailed, so well written and easy to follow and read. I was really impressed with it. My comments are on the community power, that portion of the report, when people are opted out, has the city or community power surveyed or polled why people opted out for 100% renewable energy, and if there's a way to re-engage them at some point to try to convince them to come into that type of a 100% reusable?
The city doesn't currently do that. Not to my knowledge. I don't think San Diego Community Power does a polling, but that could be a point of data that we could add into next year's report if that does exist. So that would be a good point to look into.
Another thing similar is on the leaf blower, the ordinance, there was quite a few citations written, which was
Yes.
nice to see. Is there a message that's going out somehow, either through the city's, I don't know if it's who has a business license that's in landscaping or however else it can go out to notify all these businesses that they need to go to electric?
So the process for those complaints is that it's a complaint form filled out through the city, and then code enforcement in the city actually directly reaches out to that individual or to that person that has been reported. So in terms of the businesses, it's up to how it is reported. If it's reported as a business, code enforcement will reach out to that business. But if it's reported as an individual, code enforcement will reach out to that individual.
Then the next question would be, how are we educating the public on how to simply do that through the app or the code enforcement?
Yeah, so that's a large part of the fellowship role here. So a lot of in-person outreach has been the case. So at those 16 events, we do have flyers where we point out directly on the flyer, it mentions it on there, the My Encinitas app or the complaint form on the leaf blower flyer that we have. And we also reference that for the other ordinances that we have in the city if people see that they see different things, such as the non-smoking compliance, etc. So we have that resource ready in terms of in-person. And then virtually on the website, we have a whole ordinances page on the website as well, where it outlines there that you can either download the My Encinitas app or you could go through the city website.
All right, I'm going to plug Surfrider real quick. They've gone through all 18 cities in the county and created a web page that shows in every city how you file a complaint for leaf blowers or straws or styrofoam or all sorts of kind of products that are outlawed by these cities. And that's one of the things that council members I know get upset about is there's no or not enough enforcement to bring everybody into compliance. The next one I had was a lot of good work on mobility and traffic and lowering the number of vehicle routes. And I know I've mentioned this before, but it still seems to me there's still a little room to get that a little pie chart piece a little better for greenhouse gases by the fact that the city has lowered so many speed limits from a 25 to a 20. Isn't that a 20% decrease that you would think that would be something to show? There must be some calculator somewhere of miles traveled, miles per hour reduction to get that data in there to show a pretty good, I would think, drop in the use of or amount of greenhouse gases. Well, I think last is SCOOP, and there's a subcommittee here on the commission, and maybe it's just directed to Crystal. I would like to see the Gray Star Assisted Care Facility is still in progress, I believe. As a member of that subcommittee, I would love to be able to talk to the project manager of that and even see them how they're removing it, see them how they're putting it on the beach, just to have a firsthand knowledge of how the process works to get it onto the beach. So that's something I would like to just, if any of the other two people on the subcommittee would like to do that too, if that's permissible.
Yeah, we could certainly let you know when it'll be happening. And if you'd like to come out, we'll have to make sure that it's, we're doing it in a safe manner.
Hard hat, yeah.
But we can certainly have you come and do a site visit or watch from afar on the beach and see the operation in progress. Mm-hmm.
All right, thank you. I think that's all I had. Anybody else have some comments? Sure.
Yeah, I had two questions, actually. So the first one, I noticed that the measures that are related to clean and efficient transportation are the ones that are behind. I'm just curious, what is the issue that's causing them to be delayed? Is it a funding issue, or is it agreement or a plan that we're trying to get from the subcommittee or city council or something? Because some of these, like implement a shuttle system or improve traffic flow, those are pretty big items, right? So.
You're right. It's mainly funding. It's partially staff availability, putting it on the city's work plan to actually implement the project. So yeah, the few that are behind are the ones that are a little pricier in cost to implement. So that is the main reason.
Okay. And the second question I saw on the next steps, implementing the green building initiatives is one of the things. And we have a subcommittee. We've also kind of been following that and contributed to that. I just was curious on the roadmap for getting that implemented. Is there a phased implementation that's planned or something formal that's been established for that?
So staff does need to re-engage the subcommittee and get back at that. We've had quite a few other things on our plate lately, so unfortunately that one hasn't risen to the top. I apologize for that.
No, don't
but
apologize. I was just curious. No,
it is certainly one that's
Yeah.
still on the plate,
Good.
and when we have some space to be
Yeah.
able to work on it, we will certainly do that.
well, good. Well, I was glad to see it on the list, so we're ready to talk it when everyone else
Okay,
is.
great, awesome.
Guess I'm up. Mark, I was just gonna say, on the leaf blower thing, I went through that whole process. My apartment was using gas-powered leaf blowers, and I reported it, and I got a call, and then the next month when they came back, it was electric. So, whatever happened with them, it worked. So, so the process is successful. I was gonna ask about the EV charging piece. When I was reviewing today, I just opened one of my EV charging apps, and I saw there's new chargers going in at Vaughn's on Santa Fe. I was curious if we knew if that was because of some of the green building codes we've adopted, or if that was just because they
Yeah.
thought it was a good place to build those.
That's a great one to point out. There's a few businesses that have done some remodeling in that shopping center, so I'd have to look to see exactly which ones are going in. I know there's actually a few instances of it being triggered by a requirement, but then also I believe if it's Vaughn's in particular, they may actually be looking at voluntarily adding some charging stations. So I'll look into that and I'll give you a better report either via
I think it's
email
the
or-
Golf Mart that's just got moved in there.
I don't know if Golf Mart has, because I'm a little bit
Quaker's
more
Cafe, too.
aware of that project, and I don't know if they are quite to the point of being able to install quite yet. I don't think that they've submitted plans for their EV charging stations yet. But again, I'll check all of those projects for you all so that you know which one was responsible for putting those in.
Yeah, I was just curious. I think it's cool to track the codes
Yeah.
that we've adopted, like what, if it was,
For sure.
see those successes, right?
Yeah,
I
and
mean,
we
that's great
certainly
if they
do
it
track that.
voluntarily, but
That's
yeah.
exactly what we track and report in the climate action plan. So next year,
Yeah.
the report will include that data point, and we can elaborate then, but I'll get you the information beforehand.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Two questions. One similar to Rob. So the municipal facilities with the renewable energy was on the yellow behind. I assume that when they made the plan, they said, oh, we know how to reach that target because you're just either allocating funding or making a project to put enough renewables on your roof or wherever. Do you know if that was like a funding thing that they fell behind or had to reallocate funds or just decided we're just not going to meet that target?
I can elaborate if you want. Yeah, so that one is a bit of both funding and staffing. So it started off as funding several years ago, actually right around COVID timeframe. We did actually have a project in the works to install the solar on all of our largest facilities. And then because of COVID, the construction costs became very fluctuated.
It went through the roof, yes.
Yeah, exactly. So the project was paused. There was also a lot of other financial needs of the city in terms of loans. So what at that time was proposed is that the city take out a loan to install the solar, and then that loan would be paid back through savings. So you would actually save money over time, but you still have to take out the loan on the front end, and that does hit the city's financial balance in terms of our capacity to loan for other projects. So at the time, there were other project needs that were higher priority than the solar, and so those took precedence, and the solar project was paused. And since then, we have not taken it back up again. Public Works is involved in several other facilities, evaluation-related programs right now and studies right now. And so that is a good track to start to reevaluate solar again and get it in the pipeline in terms of a future project. And so right now what I'm anticipating is that solar get kind of folded into that effort, the facilities condition assessment that's about to get kicked off. And then hopefully we'll be back on track. But as of now, just looking at kind of the 2030 being the target year and having about 5 years left, it appears as if there might not be time, but it is also a priority of the mayor though too. So this year staff has been tasked with evaluating what the city's possibilities are in terms of that project. So we'll be doing kind of a summarized plan for the council on what options the city does have to speed up that project, and that will shed a lot of light on it and provide some opportunities as well.
Cool. I appreciate them being honest about it. Is there anything we can do to help keep advocating for it? I mean, it's a yellow thing in the report, so I suppose it'll
Yeah, I mean, I would say certainly voice your opinion and support of that component of the city's work plan to city council members and the mayor, and keep that top of mind. And I would say, especially when it comes around to our annual budget cycle, when council is making decisions on how to spend the city's money, then that would be a good time to put your plug in for the projects that interest this commission.
Cool.
Yeah.
Thank you, Crystal. My second question was, and I think I've asked this before, so I apologize, but when they calculate transportation carbon, contributions from EVs, if we have an EV, because I know most or all the city gets renewable energy, electricity, is an EV count as zero carbon? If we take an internal combustion engine, and you replace that with an EV, does that fully wash out all of the?
Yeah, I kind of see where you're getting at it. Like, how does the calculation work? Like, which measure gets the credit when you got renewable energy coming on the grid, and then you're charging your car with that renewable energy? Is that what you're asking?
Yeah, because I realize that I know Encinitas gets a lot of renewable, but some, an EV is not carbon-free, right? Most get charged by electricity,
Right.
Creating
Yeah.
carbon somewhere. So that's where I was curious how, if it's an easy question, fine. If it's not, that's okay. But I was curious how
Yeah.
how EVs are treated for transportation carbon.
Yeah, so when we develop our inventory of and forecasting of what we think our emissions are going to be based on our measures, we do take that into account. So there's a lot of measures that are related to one another or play off of one another in terms of emissions reduction. And if you account for emissions reducing activities in renewable energy, you can't then double count it when you go to put the EVs online as well. And so that is factored into the inventory. That said, I will say that when we go to track our measures each year, we're not getting down to the level of recounting greenhouse gas emissions. We just track our activity. So we track, there are a number of EV charging stations that have been installed and the amount of renewable energy that's on the grid, that we track it in a little bit of a different way, because tracking the emissions is very difficult and would be very
That's a
costly
bit
and
why I
time
was trying to
intensive.
think, how do you do that? But
Yeah,
okay.
I guess the short answer is we don't.
Okay.
We do the inventory, when we update the cap, and then we do additional inventories when we have the funding and the capacity to do so, which we haven't actually done in a while. That's another topic, but the inventories are what tracks the emissions, and then our annual report tracks our activities.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
But EVs don't help us with vehicle miles traveled still, right?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, because they're still driving on the road. So
okay.
that's a separate, that's a little bit of a nuance there, yeah. Uh-huh.
Okay.
Okay, my turn. Okay, I was also very happy to see the 357 code violations for the leaf blowers, because I think it's generally thought among Encinitas that Encinitas is not enforcing the ban. And so I'm really happy to see that, so we can tell our neighbors. I think you guys did a good job. I'm really happy to see it. It was very clear, and I liked it. The one thing that I'm not 100% clear on, if your goals in the different sections are all going to get to the 2030 goal. Is that the case?
Yeah, so, sorry, for the different measures, on the progress summary page, that's probably the best page in the report to check for that. That was one of the slides in the presentation, but it will show you where we are in terms of meeting the 2030 goals. So that larger 2030 target of reducing overall emissions by 44% below baseline levels by 2030 is broken up into those actionable measures. So if we hit every single one of those actionable measures by 2030, we're meeting that 44% larger goal. However, if we don't hit every single one of those measures that we outlined for 2030, we probably aren't going to be hitting that 44% below the baseline level. So on that, out of the 20 measures so far, as of 2024, 13 of them are completed for 2030, and then 2 of them are on track, and then 4 are behind, and then 1 is on hold. So that's kind of the status of in the 20 of them. So kind of 16 out of the 20, the city staff has kind of done as much as we've outlined in the cap, and then the 4 that are behind, there's a little bit more progress to be made on those 4 measures, if that makes sense.
Yeah, so like, for, one specific thing is the solid waste. You need to reduce it by about 40% or so?
Yes, I can't remember off the top of my head, but
5.2 down to 3.6
Yes.
or 3 something. And so, are you on track for that?
so
How, I guess I'm not sure how that's being on track.
on track in terms of the action taken by the city, if that makes sense. So the action is to support zero waste in the city. So it's completed in terms of that action that we've done. Does that make sense? So, okay. So in the cap for the zero waste strategy, it outlines that the measure itself is to support zero waste in the city. So that's the action. So we've completed that in the city in terms of action-wise. But then in terms of the actual tracked number, we haven't completed that quite yet in terms of the 2030.
Well, sure, I mean, you're looking for 2030.
Yeah.
And I just feel like the support isn't necessarily enough of an actionable item. I'm being really picky, I'm sorry, I don't mean to but I'm just trying to understand a little more of the actual goal setting and the blue achievement, the green achievement.
I think I see what you're trying to get at, Carol, is there seems to be a little bit of a disconnect on how we're reporting the activity that we've done and how close we are to getting to that 2030 goal. So I think that's some good feedback that in the next year's report, we could look at kind of visualizing that a little bit better to see if the actions that we've taken are actually showing that we are going to be on track for 2030. So I guess good point is my short answer.
What I'm asking.
So, yeah.
Okay, so in a separate thing, we talked about a tree canopy goal being in the cap. What's the status of that?
Yeah, so we're still in the process of updating the climate action plan, and so that's one of the proposed new goals or new measures in that updated climate action plan is to develop a tree canopy goal. So that is still in the draft cap, but we have not taken that yet to council for approval. We have an add-on task for that project where staff has been directed to develop a benefit cost analysis for that updated cap or proposed updated cap. So we are initiating that final task, and we're still in discussions on when exactly we'll take the cap to council. It's kind of a chicken or the egg thing because it's really valuable to have the benefit cost analysis for the cap for the council to make decisions on which measures they would like to prioritize and such. So, but it may be nice for the council to have a preliminary look at the draft cap update and have them weigh in on which measures are included in there before we do the benefit cost analysis. So that's still in discussion with staff. But sorry, that was a long-winded way of saying, yes, the tree canopy goal is proposed to be in the cap update.
Oh, okay, so, that was actually my next question, was about that cost-benefit analysis. So
Okay.
has that happened, or is that happening, or is?
It is happening. It hasn't happened yet. We're in the early stages of working on it right now.
And what is the timeframe for?
We're aiming to get it done by the end of the calendar year.
Oh, okay. Okay. So then the cost benefit analysis?
Yeah. Mhm.
And so then when would we see that together?
With the cap update,
Yeah.
it would probably be early next year, early 2026, when we would have it all complete and packaged up and ready for final approval.
Okay, so then understanding how it works, once that happens, do we get another chance to make any, are people going to be able to have any feedback once they see the cost benefit analysis?
Yeah, yes. So there will be, we will bring the cost benefit analysis and the draft cap back to the Environmental Commission. We are discussing also having an additional public workshop because that is a significant new component of the climate action plan update. So that's under consideration. And then also all these items will go to council for consideration. And that's another opportunity for the public to weigh in on what is entailed in the cap update.
So that would be next January, February, March, April?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks.
All right. Anybody else have a question or comment that's come up since we've gone down the line? All right, and I don't think anything was binding to change anything, so hearing no other questions or comments, I believe we vote on this, correct, or?
So
move it forward?
we had it just listed as an informational item,
Okay.
so if that's okay with you all.
That's fine.
There's no need for a vote, just, we just wanted to present the final findings to you. Yeah.
Then I'll say again, it was very well done. Aoife, Crystal, and whatever other staff members had a finger on it. It's pretty good. All right. Thank you very much. We'll move on to number 8, action item. That looks like our work plan. We'll turn it back over to you, Crystal.
Just a second here while I bring up the spreadsheet. You know what? I think we may have not attached it to the agenda report.
Yeah, I was just gonna say.
Hold on just a second. This is the first happened.
Can you get into your personal systems from these computers? No?
I cannot, unfortunately. So,
I think I can.
okay. Thanks, Maria. Okay, stand by, everyone. Sorry for that.
Would you like to go over the commission calendar while I pull it up?
Yeah, good idea. All right, so the commission calendar, we are in August, so you all do have a bit of a break. It would be good timing if you want to convene any subcommittees. That's something you could do now, and then it wouldn't be until December when you need to start thinking about the awards program again, identifying who will be leading that effort, and then if any of your terms are up, you should start thinking about that in December as well.
Yeah, I think there's an opening on that awards subcommittee too, if anybody's interested.
Okay, so you've got a couple months to figure that out, and I'll just stop there. That's plenty far enough in the calendar. Most of your actions are in the beginning of next calendar year. So
Are we allowed to say who's terming off, or
Yeah, yeah, it's posted on the website what the terms are.
I believe,
If you want, I can bring them up if,
JP and I have one more year. We're on year 2.
I think we have another year. I think our chair's timing off. Commissioner Kramer.
The work plan update is in the presentations folder.
okay, thanks, Maria. So here's your member roster, and the terms are here. So looks like Katie Fletcher's term would be up in March. Carol Parker, yours would be up in March.
Is that because she was appointed?
Partial term.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it was, partial term. And then everyone else is good until 2027. All right, so let's jump over to the work plan update. Okay, so for your first project, which is your commission outreach and representation, the Sustainable Solutions Fair was held on June 22nd. And then on June 28th, the city partnered with Way Zero through a council-approved MOU to put on the TEDx event at the city's library. And then project number 3, which is the native plant policy. There's been a lot of activity lately with this project. So the consultants and city staff hosted a second public workshop for the native plant ordinance on June 23rd. The purpose of the workshop was to receive feedback on the draft ordinance and discuss possible incentive programs for conversions of existing non-native landscaping areas. The draft ordinance was available prior to the meeting for review, and the consultants and staff are now working on final revisions of the ordinance, putting together recommendations for the incentive program, and drafting some educational materials. And staff anticipates that the project will go to council for its first public hearing in late fall or early winter. I've also heard, and I should have added it here, but we do anticipate that the native plant policy will be coming to the Environmental Commission before it goes to council. So it would be sometime this fall. I believe we're targeting October, your October meeting, to bring the native plant policy to you for review and consideration and input. And then after that, it would go to council. It's also going to go to the oh my gosh, I'm blanking on that commission's name, the Urban Forest Advisory Committee, UFAC. Yeah.
I have a question. I was not able to attend. I was out of town. I did read the plant policy. And am I just have to wait for fall to see the final version, or is there any way to find out if there was any changes?
I think there may be a draft version online. Megan, do you know if there's a draft version online? Let me check. Yeah. And I can find the link for you and send it to you after this if there is one.
Any changes that were made?
I don't know if changes have been posted yet, but a draft of the ordinance, I believe, was posted before that last workshop.
Yeah. I saw
So,
that.
yeah, I don't think that they've reposted any changes since then. It's still under review internally. So yeah.
Okay, that's it.
All right. And next, on project number 7, which is the sand compatibility and opportunistic use program, I wanted to share that the San Alejo Lagoon was dredged this past July, and placement of the sand went just south of the lagoon inlet in front of the restaurants there. And next, the mouth of the lagoon will be dredged later in August, and that sand will be placed on the westerly side of the Cardiff Living shoreline to help with maintenance of that project area. For your project number 8, zero waste. So in June 2025, Commissioners Parker, O'Connor, Kramer all met with Councilmember O'Hara and Mayor Ellers about education and outreach efforts. So thank you for that.
So,
And-
Mark, did you meet with the mayor as well?
Yeah, I've spoken to the mayor about it.
Oh, okay.
And then also, Councilmember Schaefer, I believe, we also spoke with him. And then can I just give an update on the food service plastic ordinance?
Oh,
number
sure,
10?
please do.
So Katie's been doing a great job on that, and she had sent out a survey to all the restaurants, but it came to our attention that the ordinance, if it goes through right, will impact retail. So she was asked to create another survey to send out to the Ralphs and the Vonzas to see how this might impact them. So that's in progress, I believe. I don't know if it's been sent out yet, but I know she created the document to send out. So that's takes a little bit of time to get that done. And then some neat things that happened was we learned that the city has a contract with I Love a Clean San Diego, just as they put on that event on the 22nd. They also were engaging 5 restaurants to see about moving them from the products they're using into compostable products. And we've asked them to see if they can figure out a cost point, because so far in talking to the council members, that's one of the biggest things they want to see is how much is this going to cost either the restaurant to get into the right product, and if it's pushed down to the consumer, how much our food might go up. So we believe they're looking into that. And a second thing that as part of that 5 restaurant evaluation is EDCO has offered to have their local rep evaluate when you change to compostable products, it's reducing your blue bin and your gray bin. So if your bins can go smaller, that's a less charge. And if you can go to where you're not being picked up daily to twice a week, there's less charge. So there's a huge potential savings in that evaluation as we move into the compostable arena. And the last I just learned is there's an RFP with a company out of Colorado that's come here and visited, and they're going to create a toolkit for all the restaurants to be able to plug that in to show what they're using, what they want to get to, and it's a calculator on costs. And that won't be ready for till October 31st. Some time to get it. What I'm getting at is we've been working on this for a long time. All these things are making it take a little bit longer. So we probably won't ask to present to council till after October 31st. And even then, AB 1201, a state law that's defining compostability, is supposed to go into effect January 1st. So somewhere in there is probably a good place to ask to get to the city council to present. So it's going to take a little more time.
All right. Thanks for that update. Okay, anything else that anyone wants to add about any of your work plan projects?
Are you going to go over the last page?
I thought I got to the end of it. Did I miss something?
Our beloved PCO2.
Oh, yes, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Yeah, so Project 12 is the environmentally preferred purchasing policy. So, the current situation with that is that in talking with the subcommittee, staff has reoriented themselves on what that policy entails, and what we're working on doing at a staff level is some internal improvements and for policy implementation. And what we'll do is we'll reconvene the subcommittee when we have a chance and discuss some of that progress and options at that time. So I would imagine if you could give staff probably at least a couple months to kind of work that out, and then we could reconvene the subcommittee and kind of share where we're at in implementing the policy.
Did our comments get forwarded to them, or?
So I'm leading it.
Oh, okay.
So yes.
Perfect.
Yeah, so I'm definitely well aware of your comments, and I think the approach is first, let's get a better handle on how it's being implemented, and then circle back on the comments and see which ones are still relevant based on that renewed policy implementation.
Because I was grinding my mind when we left off. I'd reformatted the comments into this format for going to an agenda item, but I think we said hold off on that, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we're at the hold off stage still. So you guys have done all you need in my mind. And now it's in staff's court to revisit the policy and make sure that it's being properly implemented. And then we'll circle back with the subcommittee and give you an update.
And then on city staff, is it Jennifer, the city manager, who's sort of in charge for that? I think it's Jennifer.
Well, that's how the policy is written, but she then directs staff to be the lead on it. So I've spoken with her, and she's directed me to kind of lead the effort. It's a multi-departmental effort, of course. The policy, as you know, is it affects all departments in the city. So I'll coordinate that with all the other departments, kind of like I do with the climate action plan, and make sure that they're aware of the components that they're responsible for implementing. And we'll begin to track all that, and I'll circle back with the subcommittee and let you know kind of where we're at.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Any other comments on the work plan? All right, then at this point, I'm dying to approve something. I believe we approve the work plan each time.
Yes, this is
Right.
one that you do approve.
Anybody want to make a motion to approve the work plan? I'll make the motion that we approve the work plan.
I'll second.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed? Passes. Item number 9, any commissioner-initiated action agenda items? Hearing none, we'll move to 10. Any updates on items of interest? Anybody have one? I have 2. This Saturday at Moonlight Beach, there's a Surfrider Beach cleanup at 9 a.m. Everyone's welcome. And something that's pending is there's been work through the chamber on trying to create a mural tour, bike mural tour down the 101, about 70 different murals. And it looks like a launch date is going to be, it was supposed to be this weekend, but it got postponed, to where you'll see advertisement to join that and look at some of the beautiful art in Encinitas, and it's most likely going to move to October. So keep your eye out for that. It should be a fun ride for everybody. All right, any street stores are worth mentioning now?
So we did our August cleanup with the Solana Center, which was really cool. Got to meet them, met you, so that was cool. And then September is going to be a Lievenhain meeting hall. Mayor Ellers is helping coordinate and team up there. And then October, Rob and I are talking to Fox Point Farms, so we'll be over there. So yeah, a couple of fun ones coming up.
And again, that's like a beach cleanup on the streets. It's pretty cool. All right, no other points of interest? Number 11, any future commissioner-initiated agenda items anybody wants to bring up? All right, hearing none, the meeting is adjourned.